refresh?
A refresh for the viewers. Tell us, just state your name and then tell me where you're from and when you started playing Texas Hold'em or poker.
My name is Paul Moskowitz. A lot of people know me as Golf Ball Paul because my card protector is a golf ball that my son made for me. I have been playing now for, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years. And, well, actually, I come from Silver Lake, Ohio. So I've been playing 6 or 7 years, and one of my favorite little stories is like when I did start playing poker, a bunch of my buddies, it was one winter day, we're on this abandoned little shed that was on an abandoned Christmas tree farm, and they invited me over to just play some poker. We're going to drink some beers and smoke cigars. So we went there, and they introduced me to Texas Hold'em, and I was very aggressive betting early on. And in a matter of just a few hands, I had lost all my chips, and they said I was out. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I want to buy more chips. And they go, no, when you play Texas Hold'em tournaments, once you lose your chips, you're out. And so I learned really quickly not to play that way, but I instantly fell in love with the game on that night, and have been playing ever since and try to play as much as I can. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Good.
This is a two-part question, and it's focused on how being recorded for the last 2 seasons has changed the way you play. So the first part of the question is, how has being able to watch how you have played changed your game? And the second part, do you think players who have watched you and how you play now have an advantage against playing against you? Do you want me to repeat?
No.
Okay.
The first part of the question, which basically was, have I changed how I play because
of being able to watch
myself back?
Correct.
I would say I would have to say yes to that in a minor way, because everything I do, every tournament I play, every game that I play, I'm truly trying to improve my game. Every hand, every game. And at the end of a night when I am driving home, whether I've cashed or not, I have analyzed how many hands I played poorly. Hands that you lose on pure luck, somebody drawing out on you, there's not a lot you can do about that. But if I make a mistake that has led me to losing chips, I try to learn from that. When I'm watching myself play in the previous seasons, I'm honestly trying to see if there's maybe tells that I'm giving that I may be giving away. I don't think I've been giving away that many tells when I'm playing, but I'm sure some people that may have watched that I play against, may have picked up a few things, but I just think this game, there's so many variables to this game that, the situation that you're in and how you play it, it depends who's at the table. The position you have in that particular hand, the chip stacks at that particular moment. There's so many variables. I think it would be hard-pressed for some local players to really pick up on everything that I'm doing. I try to reveal as little as I can, during a game, but, we play with good players, and they can pick up what they can. I don't want to advertise any more than I have to, but I don't think playing on Chase the Bracelet is hurting my play in live games in the area. That's part one. And then part two again was remind me on part two?
Do you think that players who've watched you play now have an advantage when they play against you now?
I sort of dipped into that just now. I don't think so. Again, the whole situational aspect, there's no secret with a lot of people that I play with. I'm an extremely tight player. I consider myself extremely patient. I can be aggressive when I need to, but overall, I am a tight player. It's easy to tell when I am not getting cards. One of the first things I do is put my iPod on. That's to help keep me patient. And even if I need to grab a beer, if things are really bad, I might grab a beer just to stay relaxed, stay calm, and don't get into hands that I shouldn't be in. So I just try to maintain control of that in whatever way I can. Tournaments that I do really poorly on or poorly in, when it's my mistake and not just pure bad luck, a run of the cards, I'm either distracted by something else going on in my life, or I didn't come really in the right mindset or something like that. So, but I think if I keep my mistakes at a minimum, I don't really mind what other people are picking up the way I play on Chase the Bracelet.
What are your thoughts about skill versus luck in a tournament? How do you use that in your strategy?
There's no question that skill is a necessity to do well consistently. Anybody, can get lucky and win. There's many times where I'm at a tournament and somebody that has never played in that group will win the tournament. Not so much that they're necessarily a great player, but you know what? The cards are falling their way that time. But in the long run, and I think that's how you have to look at it, and I think I'm a good example of this, is that in a lot of leagues and tournaments that I play in, I'm pretty consistently, maybe not necessarily in the money. At one point I was starting to get a reputation of bubble boy because I was coming close to the money. But if you're in a 50-man tournament and you're bubbling, I mean, you're having success and you're playing well. Where the luck comes in, and there's no doubt in my mind that luck definitely plays, because you have to win some races. You have to have some cards hit at certain times. You can't win, bluffing 10 times a tournament. And some people might be able to. That's not my style. But you do have to have some luck to win, and it's nice when that luck's on your side.
And I quote Daniel Negreanu. He feels that he knows or can know a lot about how someone plays by identifying their background, what they do for a living, etc. He uses that to his advantage and calls himself a profiler. And I guess I'm curious to know, do you profile players? And how good are you at reading players?
Well, the first part of that, I don't consider myself necessarily a profiler. I know some people I play with are a little bit better than that at that than I am. Maybe that's an area I can improve, but I feel I'm pretty good at reading people in general, though, because I've been in sales my entire career. And when you're in sales, you have to be able to adapt to dealing with so many different kinds of personalities, and you have to get a feel for how people respond to you in certain situations. So I feel I'm actually pretty good at reading people at a table. One of the things I hate is being at a table, starting to learn who's at my table and how they're playing, and then you get moved to another table, and then you got to start it all over again. So I always like being at a table as long as I possibly can. When I was in the World Series of Poker event this past summer in Vegas, for the first 5.5 hours I was doing so well because there were no changes of players at the table, and I was really in tune with what was going on with all the players at this table. And things didn't start going downhill until they brought some new players to the table. One was Christina Lindley. She's the one that knocked me out. So
You brought up your experience this summer in Vegas for the World Series of Poker. I'd like you to elaborate a little bit about that experience and do your best at trying to elaborate on how your experience in your league play, or what you've grown to know and experience over the last 6 years, what you were able to take to Vegas and have it be successful.
Well, this past summer was the first time that I ever played in a World Series of Poker event. So there was some awe, there was some maybe overexcitement to being a part of it, but it's something that I've wanted to do for a few years now, and glad that I did it. I had some friends that have participated in those events who were kind enough to share some ideas and strategies that should help me, and I was able to apply some of those strategies while I was in that event, and it was doing really well, again, until Christina Lindley came to my table. But I can hardly wait till this coming summer. I will head out to Vegas again to participate in that event, and I expect to do better. As long as, some nasty bad luck doesn't hit, I feel that I will hit the money this year. I don't know how high up, but my goal is to make the money the second time that I play in that event.
Are those strategies that you use when you go to the World Series of Poker different than how you play here locally in Akron?
Well, not too much, actually. I would say this first year, there might have been some intimidation factor. There was a woman sitting right next to me who I was chatting with. Turns out she, just a couple months prior, took fourth place in a WPT event and won $500,000. And I saw her coming out extremely aggressive. And so, I was watching that and seeing, how she was working it. But I'm like, if she wins $500,000 in an event, and, it turned out a month later, I was watching TV and watching her on that event. But she was, it was interesting to watch, but it was a little intimidating. Christina Lindley, who, hosts a poker show and is pretty well known in the poker community as well. She's not bad looking either. But I was watching her because when she got moved to my table, I didn't know who she was. She is a very attractive woman. She was wearing, a fashionable hat. She didn't have glasses on. But I saw every single hand. Her eyes just followed right around to every player whose action it was. And, but she came with a big chip stack as well. So I'm like, okay, I was wondering if she might have been a pro. So I was watching what she was doing, and I got in a hand where she took quite a few of my chips away, and I learned a lot just in that one hand. So, but I don't think overall it changes the general way that I play. But again, with the stuff that I'm learning every time I play, I am trying to improve each time, so I am picking things up. So whether it be at the World Series of Poker or just a local league. So I play this general same way, but trying to improve each time and picking some things up. Did I answer your question on that?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Your stories definitely make me think that you have a good amount of poker experience, and it's really brought some successes to your life that you're excited about and you want to keep going. And my background, when those types of things happen, it makes me sort of be introspective, and I guess I'm curious what you've struggled with when you first started playing, and how you were able to identify what your weaknesses were, I guess. Can you go back in time and hash out a little bit of that?
Hash out, I mean, gosh, I just think I've come so far in my game. I mean, when you first start playing, you really don't know how to play. I mean, it's like chess. If you play chess, it doesn't take long to learn how to play the game of chess, but to play against anybody with any skill, you have to master techniques and strategies. I feel, and it's sort of funny how some players always have to explain how they're playing and why they're doing it. And I'm sort of appreciative of that because I do learn from what they're saying, but they're also giving away a lot of information that they really don't need to be giving away for their own game. I'll be the first to admit, I don't know it all. I'm learning every time, and every time someone opens up their mouth, I'm picking something up. Hey, I make mistakes when I go out and play. I'm not real happy about that, but I just want to improve, and I know that I've done that over 6 years of time. I would say that very first game, though, when I was drinking and smoking cigars, that probably was the most fun. But now, I try to approach games, especially ones with larger buy-ins, with a little more seriousness. I mean, if you go and you're just having a good old time, that's one thing. But, if you're really, if you're in a league or in like Chase the Bracelet where you're trying to, reach a goal of winning the championship, I have to speak for myself. I have to focus. I play against a lot of young players, half my age, and God, I can't believe I just said that. But there's a lot of young players, and they're extremely aggressive. I have played online, but a lot of those younger players have spent so much time online, and they're just super aggressive. But I've seen guys my age and even older who've had huge success in big tournaments, WSOP events. So I feel that my style of play can work and be successful.
What's in your poker future?
Boy, I'd love to win more. I would say I would love to reach the point where I can go semi-pro. I don't know. Right now, I'm not really close enough to get to that point. I need to be winning a lot more. I need to improve more before I can go that route. But for now, I just love playing. I love playing against good players because when you play against good players, you just get better. And again, a few of the leagues I'm in, they're well run, and we get really good players in these leagues. And so for now, that's pretty much what I can do. And then some of these bigger events like WSOP, I definitely want to get there, and maybe if I can get to a couple other casino events. So I'll start growing that way. But until I can start cashing and winning more often, I still have work to do.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your experience with Chase the Bracelet or your poker future?
First of all, I love Chase the Bracelet. PJ and Tony, the concept is wonderful. I've been extremely proud to be a part of this. I've had a blast every tournament that we've had. I've looked forward every Sunday to come and participate in this. It's been a real challenge, and everybody that's been associated with it has been great. Great personalities and fun people. I sort of look at myself as sort of the straight man. I don't say as much as these other guys do. They're very funny, and I enjoy the humor, and I'm sometimes the butt of those jokes, but I am totally fine with that. I just think, as Linda Johnson says, it just they show you the love, and I can handle that. So, but I'm happy to be a part of it. But this year, I came close to winning this past season. I was one position away, maybe 2 spots away in that final tournament to taking down that bracelet. My goal was to win that bracelet this year. Robert Newman, congratulations for winning. I think if it wasn't for a 1-7 of diamonds where he hit a one-outer on the river against me, I might be trying that bracelet on right now. But I can tell you my goal this year is to have PJ making a custom bracelet for me.
That's awesome. Thanks.
You're welcome. Would you like to measure right now?